Hey everybody, welcome back to Mofro's Reef. This is Wayne, and it's a little update on Leno here. He's been in the Melifix for 2 days now, and he hasn't come out of that tube. His eye, honestly, I really can't tell if it's gotten any better yet. Maybe a little bit, I'm not sure. It's still pretty big, but he hasn't come out of there in a while. I don't know, hopefully he's just hanging out in there and healing. Today's update is going to be on putting some coral in the tank. I cut a bunch of my frags up, and actually, let's go over to the 205. I put a couple little pieces in here the other day, just some test subjects. One of my hammers is doing really good. I dipped them, scrubbed them with a brush. His whole skeleton, no pests are getting in this tank, so I'm pretty adamant about that. No frag plugs will be in here. Everything's going to get glued right to the rock. My favorite coral that I've had for a really long time, this Lobo down here. When I first put him in the 100 gallon and I got my Hydra 52s, man, I torched him. Everything was completely white. I burnt him pretty bad. So I took him out of the light a little bit, man. He colored back up real nice, and same thing with him. I actually cut his skeleton, and there was all kinds of bristleworms up in there and everything. So what I did was I cut him, dipped him, scrubbed him, and then glued him to this rock right here. And that's where he'll live until I figure out exactly how I'm going to place everything. This hammer here, he's just sitting in there. So let's go back over to the frag tank here. A lot of these euphyllias I had to cut up because there's no way I would have been able to get inside the skeleton to clean it. Maybe this hammer right here, I might be able to wiggle my way in there and clean it and scrub it. But like this candy cane here, I had to cut it in like 4 pieces. There was all kinds of them vermetus snails all over it. Not happening. So I'd rather cut a nice colony, probably take maybe this piece right here, and then I'll just sell all the rest of this off. Not happening, little guy. You and you, the next time I get a chance, are going to the LFS, and I'm going to get me a mated pair of, I think, snowflake clowns. My big Monty wasn't happening, man. It's in like 4 pieces there. So what I'm going to try to do is I'll try to glue it to that rock to make it look kind of like it was. If not, I'll start over. That's a bummer. I mean, it was completely encrusted on the rock. I had to break it off. There was no pulling it off. So I'll get this set up, and we'll start cleaning some corals and some stuff in the system. So first things first, I work with my hands for a living, so I always have a bunch of open cuts and stuff. I'm going to wear the blue gloves today, rubber band my wrist so I don't have no way of getting bacteria on my skin. I mean, normally if I'm just touching a frag plug or something, I'm okay, but I don't want to get any coral slime on me whatsoever. This is a really nice looking Duncan right here. Had this guy for quite a while. So the first thing I'm going to do is just inspect him. Looks pretty solid. So take him. That looks like the only part that's actually exposed that could have anything on it. Yeah, when you start touching corals like this, they get pretty slimy. know what this stuff is, but I don't know if this is the vermilion snails or not, so I'm not taking a chance. When in doubt, cut it off. Yeah, I think that's exactly what they are too. Okay. I got my med dips down here on the floor. I don't think you can see them, but let me dip these down here. Tonight candy cane, man, was it a nice piece, but it had so many of them vermeted snails on it, I had to cut it because I couldn't get to them. They were just littered all over the skeleton of this thing. Same thing with this guy. Anything I can scrape off, I'll scrape off. What do we got there? You know, some sort of little worm. When I did this to my Lobophilia, there was some super glue on the bottom of them, and I busted that super glue off, and man, there had to be a bristleworm in there about yay big. Never would have known unless I popped that glue base off there. Not that bristleworms are bad. Well, some people they're bad, but it's not like having some of the stuff I had in my other system. I really don't want any of them vermeted snails. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not quite sure. But them things, they just turn into they're like little hypodermic needles, and they grow everywhere. Or maybe it has something to do with nutrients levels too. I'm not quite sure. But hopefully BRS gets some zeolite reactors in shortly. I just tested my all my parameters again. Ammonia 0. Nitrite 0. Nitrates look like they went up to maybe 2.5, 3 on the low level Red Sea Nitrate 0 test kit. This thing's getting gooey on me. Looks good. I'm just going to go drop him in, and we'll move him around later. Okay, let's look at this guy again. Yeah, that definitely was meta snail. I got 2 more dishes over here, one more of RODI water and one more of this actual water. Okay, I'm going to go set him in. I glue this kryptonite candy cane to this rock right here. Honestly, I'm going to go grab a different rock. I'm not liking that one. And this glue here is super, super thick. You can see that? See how thick that is? It's awesome for gluing corals on. Just don't let it touch you. So, dip this in here like that, I think, something like that. Take this Bulk Reef Supply Instaset accelerator. I'm telling you, this stuff is no joke, man. Alrighty. Look at that, done. So I got some more tank water over here. What I'm going to do is just dip this in here. Just to get some of that super glue hardened. Flush some of that accelerator off there. Stick him in the tank. Take one more peek at him. Like I said, if there's anything on these corals that looks suspicious, especially on the skeletons, just cut it off.